Hello, can we all have a camera switched on, everyone fast, before we start with today's class? Hi everyone, good afternoon. Hello, am I audible, guys? Good afternoon, Rekha. Can we all have a camera switched on, fast? We then start with the lecture. I'll give you in my introduction, then we start with the subject. Am I not audible? Anyone else can please confirm this? Audible, sir. Okay. Can you just, exit and try rejoining the meeting? Shreyashi, can you exit and rejoin the meeting? Maybe that will help you, resolve this issue. Others, am I audible? Okay. Just give me a minute. I'll attach my stylus and then we can start with the lecture. Meanwhile, others, please switch on your cameras, everyone. Oh. So guys, I am Bhavik Waghela, your faculty for ACCA Performance Management. I am a qualified ACCA and I have been teaching students since almost last 7 years now. Okay. So this is about my introduction. I take all the practical subjects like financial reporting, performance management, and financial management at skill level. And at professional level, I take SBR, that is my strategic business reporting. Okay. Now, before we proceed with this, am I not audible, guys?
Audible, sir.
Audible, right? Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Others who are just facing this issue, please exit and try rejoining again. Okay. So guys, now talking about this subject, performance management, it is quite practical and logical oriented. Nothing to do with rules. It's quite of logical over here. Okay. So we just have to be open with the logic over here. No standards, no formulas, nothing. Even the formulas quite here are logical. So how many of you have studied ME in your knowledge level? I guess some of you must have taken exemptions. Have we taken exemptions of the knowledge level? Anyone? Can you just raise your hands? How many of you have taken exemption for the knowledge level papers? Just raise your hand. You have an option to raise your hand. Okay, many of us. Okay. So guys, the subject that we will be learning here, performance management, is an extension of management accounting. Okay. Now let me introduce the paper pattern of this subject. Just let me know once my screen is visible. Is my screen visible to all of you? Okay. Now guys, the entire ACCA structure is divided into three levels: knowledge, skill, and professional. So right now, we are discussing about the skill level, that is performance management subject. Okay. Now, if you see, I have highlighted highlighted these three subjects for a reason, meaning to say these subjects are interrelated to each other. Management accounting forms a base for performance management, which further forms a base for advanced performance management at your P level. Okay. But nonetheless, we will be taking everything from scratch. Okay. So you need not worry about we had taken exemption for MA level paper. How will we cover up or cope up with PM? Okay. Uh, okay. Everyone with me so far? Okay. Now talking about the paper pattern of performance management, the entire paper is divided into three sections, A, B, and C. Okay. Now, all the papers at your skill level are a mix of constructed response and your objectives. Okay. From PM to FM. Now, the paper pattern is as such. In your section A, you will be having 15 MCQs of 2 marks each, total of 30 marks. Section B, you will be having three case scenarios, three case studies. Each of the case studies will have further 5 MCQ questions. And each of these MCQ questions will be of 2 marks. So we have three multitask questions of 10 marks each, again 30 marks. And in section C, we have constructed response kind of question. We will be having two constructed response. Now, what do I mean by constructive response is the answer in brief kind of questions. You have to give a detailed solution to the question that they will be asking. Okay. Which is for 40 months. So this is how your total paper is divided into of if total paper of 100 marks is divided into three sections, A, B, and C. So what is the time available to complete the paper? It is 3 hours and 15 minutes, out of which 15 minutes is just to read the instructions that will be given to you. So actually speaking, you just have 3 hours to complete the entire 100-mark paper. Okay. Passing marks would be 50. So to clear PM, you need to score at least 50. And sir, are there any negative marking? Now, what do I mean by negative marking is you will not be penalized for incorrect answers. You will simply be getting a zero, no negative marks. Generally, what happens is if the paper pattern, if the paper has negative marking structure, then for every one incorrect answer, you get minus 0.25 or minus 0.5. But this is not the case in case of our ACCA examination. Everyone with me so far? Everyone? Okay. Guys, can we all have our camera switched on? Can we all have our camera switched on and the camera stays on throughout the class? I'll tell you the reason. See, my way of learning, what I believe is that learning is an interactive approach. It's not always one-sided learning that I am speaking, speaking, and speaking. If that happens, then you don't get to learn the maximum. So our classes would be more of discussion types. There will be inputs from both of us. We will be discussing a concept. We will be discussing exam standard questions on these concepts. And I will make you solve these questions in front of me. So this is how our learning methodology will be. Okay. Every chapter, we will be solving at least 8 to 12 questions every chapter. The total chapters that we have, we will be solving at least 8 to 10 questions per chapter. Okay. Now, before I start with today's class, there are certain rules and instructions that I expect to be followed throughout my lectures. Okay. Firstly, the camera stays on. Secondly, live interaction. See, we are in this live class for a reason that we want to learn more. Okay, so I expect interaction from your end as well. Feel free to ask me your doubts, no matter the if it's a silly doubt or whatever the kind of doubt is. No one is here to judge you guys. So any doubt you have, please ask it freely. Do not hesitate to ask me your doubt. Okay. Third, let us say I am explaining any particular concept or I am solving any particular illustration in class. You have a doubt. You have an option to raise your hand. Okay. So you can raise your hand. Then I'll take your name. Once I take your name, you can ask me your doubts, guys. This is done to ensure that the flow of the lecture does not get affected by this. Okay? Or else it disturbs the flow of the lecture. Everyone understood this. And I will need consistency in your lectures. I want 100% attendance, guys. You just be there in class and do what I tell you to do, and we ensure a pass. Okay? We ensure a pass. And on a weekly basis, I will be giving you homework as well. So at least 8 to 10 questions will be there on a weekly basis, which you will be solving it over the weekdays before my class. Okay. And sometimes there will be surprise test also, which I will be scheduling. Everyone. Okay. Now the subject performance management. Okay. It's more about business decisions. Is nothing about, finding out profit or loss or something like this. No. Now I am a businessman. I want to manufacture certain products. Now, I need to take many kind of decisions. Decisions such as to determine the selling price. Okay. And how do I get to know about the selling price of the product is when I find the cost of the product. See, unless and until I cannot find the cost of the product, I won't be able to find out the selling price. Now, finding the cost of the product is something that was already covered in management accounting, which will not be further tested in your PM level. Okay. So first business decision that I need to do is determine the selling price. Second is what other business decision I need to take is whether I need to invest in this particular project. That is a kind of investment appraisal, which is not there in our PM. But I'm just telling you what are the different kind of decision that I need to take. Okay. Then what I do is at the beginning of the year, I prepare a budget. Okay. When my financial year ends, I compare this budget with the actual performance of the manager. So, budget versus the actual helps me in measuring the performance of the manager. How did the manager perform? Did he perform good or he performed bad? So, this is also a kind of decision that I need to take regarding the amount of compensation or the bonus, not the compensation, the bonus rather. I need to pay to him. Okay. So there are many such chapters which we will be learning, and when we come across it, you will feel that, sir, this is something that is quite practical and logical. Nothing theoretical, all practical and logical in this subject that we will be learning. Okay. Now, I am not starting directly with the PM syllabus. What I do is, what we are doing today is, we are touching the basics of ME. Like, unless and until we don't know this, we cannot start with PM. Okay. So let us touch with the basics of management accounting, the basics of costing. Okay. So today we are starting with introduction, the costs and its analysis. The cost and its analysis. Okay. Now, guys, cost. Anyone, what do I mean by the word cost? Anyone, what do I mean by the word cost? No problem, Shreyashi, for today. Anyone, what do I mean by the word cost? Just allow me a minute. Yes, guys, tell me the meaning of the word cost.
Cost means expenses like
Perfect. Expenses for
uh, company. If any maximum manufacturer company, there is expenses that is called cost.
perfect. So, cost is any amount that we pay to procure goods or to receive service. Okay. Now, we are learning about the classification of costs. Okay. How are these costs classified in our costing, that is in performance management? Okay. So, what is cost? It is an amount that is paid to be spent or that is to be paid or spent to buy something. And guys, these costs are classified in four ways. Firstly, by element. Second is on the basis of nature. Third is the function. and fourth is behavior. Okay. So talking about element. Now, tell me if you want to purchase any particular, sorry, not purchase, you want to manufacture any particular product. Let us say you want to manufacture a water bottle. You want to manufacture a water bottle. Tell me what all things will you need to manufacture a water bottle? This is my product. I deal in water bottle. What I do is I manufacture water bottles and I sell it. So, what all things will I require to manufacture a water bottle?
There is a customized machine and rent would be.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Let us start with the basic things. Machine is fine. Chalo, machine is fine. Let us think about the basic things that I'll require.
So plastic.
Plastic.
Plastic. So, can I, just write what I say is just a minute. Perfect. I'll require raw materials. Now, it depends what kind of water bottle I am manufacturing. Is it a plastic water bottle? Is it a metal water bottle? Is it a copper water bottle that I'm manufacturing? So first thing that I require is the raw material. Second, will this raw material get converted into a finished product on its own?
We need machinery as well.
We need machinery as well. Perfect. So can I say I will be incurring, in addition to the machinery, I'll also require labor
Yes.
because these are the people, labor will be converting a raw material into a finished product.
Yes.
And we require a machinery as well. So any expenses for machinery, for example, any expenses or costs incurred to operate the machinery will be my overhead. Okay, any expenses that I incur. So all these, this will be known as direct material. This will be known as my direct labor. Okay, and these would be my direct expense. Guys, can we have our mic switched off? Actually, there is some disturbance in the background. Okay. So, on the basis of my element, I have labor, that is materials cost, labor cost, and expenses. And expenses here would mean the factory rent, depreciation, etc. So, this is the classification of my cost on the basis of element. Okay. Any questions, anyone? Okay. The next, what we have is the classification of cost on the basis of nature. And by nature, I mean if they are directly related to production or they are indirectly related to the production. Okay. Now tell me the labor charges, the salary that I pay to a labor, is it directly related to a production? Think logically and tell me. The salary that I pay, the wages that I pay to my labor, is it directly related to my production?
Yes, sir.
It is. Because can I say the labor is directly working on the manufacturing of the water bottles? The labor is directly working on the manufacturing of the water bottles. Okay. So, on the basis of the nature, I have direct cost and indirect cost. So, all the cost or all the expense that I incur, which are directly related to my production of goods, will be my direct cost. Examples are direct materials, direct labor, and direct expenses. Everyone understood this? Okay. Next I have is indirect costs, which are indirectly related to the production. Okay, indirectly related to the production. Now let us say water bottles. Will I give my water bottles directly in hand to customer or I will be incurring some packaging cost? Or will I incur some packaging cost? Tell me. What do I do in respect of water bottles? I'll be incurring some packaging costs, right? And guys, this packaging cost is not directly related to my production. So any packaging costs or packaging materials that I purchase will be classified as my indirect material. It will be classified as my indirect material. I hire a supervisor. I hire a supervisor. Why? To take care of the laborers, to supervise the work that is going on to my okay in the factory. Now, any salary that I pay to the supervisor will not be considered as my direct labor. I will be classifying it as my indirect labor. So, salary to factory supervisor, salary to factory supervisor. Again, it will be my what I say is indirect labor, indirect labor, and all other expenses. Okay. For example, I'll say some cleaning stuff done in the factory, cleaning expenses done in the factory, then salary paid to the watchman of the factory. All these would be my indirect costs. All these would be my indirect costs or indirect expenses. Okay. So on the basis of element, we have material, labor, and expenses. On the basis of nature, we have direct costs and indirect costs. Any questions so far? Anyone, any questions so far? Preksha, factory electricity would be my direct expense. Okay. Factory electricity would be my direct expense. Okay. Now, considering on the basis of the function, are these directly related to the production or they are non-production costs? Meaning to say, are these my production costs or they are my non-production costs? Now, what do I mean by production cost is any cost incurred inside a factory. Okay. Any costs that are incurred inside a factory will be my production cost. Okay. So this is incurred directly in in products manufacturing process inside the factory included in the valuation of inventory. Examples are direct material, direct labor, direct expenses, and production overheads. Production overheads. Overheads is another name for the word expenses or the cost. Okay. And production overheads can be both variable and fixed. We will be discussing variable and fixed over here in another 5-10 minutes. Okay. And any cost that we incur outside the factory, such as administrative cost, selling and distribution cost, finance cost, etc., would be by non-production cost. Now, what do I mean by administrative costs? Salary paid to the accountant, salary paid to the sales manager, office rent, office electricity bill, all these are my administrative costs. Selling and distribution cost would mean any payment or expenses that I have incurred in connection or relation to what I say is selling of goods or services. And finance costs are the interest costs that we have paid for the money that was borrowed, for the loan that was borrowed. Everyone understood? Sir, why we classified the expenses into direct and indirect? Because the thing is, we value our inventory at what I say is the cost of production. So once we come across the cost cards, you'll understand this, that why do I classify the expense into direct and indirect. Understood? So we are yet to come on that, Prakhar. Okay? Okay. Everyone understood on the basis of function, production and non-production costs? Okay. Then we come to classification on the basis of behavior. Now here, these are certain costs which vary in relation to the level of activity. Okay, so on the basis of the behavior, cost in relation to the changes in the level of activity. We have variable, fixed, step fixed cost, and semi-variable cost. Okay, now let us try and understand all these costs one by one. Okay, we first discuss variable cost. Okay, now let us say I am someone who makes and sells pizzas. My business is making a pizza and selling a pizza. Okay, I want to make one pizza. The cost is five per pizza. So for every one pizza I make, I incur $5 per pizza, which are the ingredients, which is, let us say, pizza base, the sauce, the toppings, the cheese, and so on. Okay. If one pizza costs me five, how much will two pizza cost me? Anyone? If one pizza costs me five, then how much will two cost me? 10. How much will three pizza cost me? 15. How much will four cost me? 20. So can I say, as my activity level is increasing, just pay attention to this table. Huh? As my activity level is increasing, my total variable cost also keeps on increasing. My total variable cost also keeps on increasing. So this is my variable cost. In case of variable cost, the cost per unit remains the same. It is the total variable cost that keeps on changing. Guys, the word itself, variable means keeps on changing. Keeps on varying. So if I have a look at the diagram of variable cost, I have an upward sloping graph. I have an upward sloping graph. Okay, upward slope. So if my activity level is zero, can I say I will be incurring zero cost? For one pizza, the cost is 5. For two pizzas, the cost is 10, and so on. So it is upward sloping curve for variable cost. So please keep in mind, variable cost per unit remains the same. The total variable cost keeps on changing in relation to the activity level. Everyone understood? Everyone understood variable cost? Okay. Then next, what I have is fixed cost. Now, guys, if I want to run a restaurant, then don't you think I'll require a place which I'll have to rent it out? I'll take a place on rent. And the landlords are not that good. They will not say, you made zero business today, you sold zero pizzas today, let me not charge you rent. They will not say. No matter you make and sell zero pizzas or you make and sell 1,000 pizzas, the rent amount would remain the same. So fixed cost, it is a cost which does not change in relation to your activity level. No matter your activity level is 0 or 100 or 1,000, these costs remain the same. These costs remains the same. Perfect Vajreshwari. Fixed cost remains the same whether the sales are high or low. Perfect. Okay. So a cost is deemed to be fixed if when it is incurred regardless to the level of activity. Now what happens is, let us say I budget to sell different number of pizzas throughout the year. Okay, no matter how many pizzas I make and sell, the rent that I will be incurring would remain the same. The rent that I am incurring, the rent cost that I am paying would remain the same. Okay. Now what happens over here is, let us pay attention to the diagram over here. I have a line which is parallel to x-axis. And if you understand, it is not a upward sloping, it is a horizontal line. The reason being Even if your activity level is zero, you will still be incurring 24,000 of your fixed cost for rent. Okay. So no matter your activity level, your total rent remains the same. Your total rent remains the same. Now, and try understand the reason that why am I finding out the per unit fixed cost. Anyone knows why do we find out the per unit fixed cost? Anyone knows why do I find or why do we find out the per unit fixed cost? Okay, pay attention. I am a businessman. Let us say I want to make pizza. Okay. Now, what happens is for this, I have taken a kitchen on rent. I'm just talking about the kitchen. I'm not talking about the sitting area. Let us say the direct material plus direct labor plus the direct expenses, it costed me $20 per pizza. Okay. Now, if you are not considering the kitchen rent, then you are not, considering what I will say is if you are not including your kitchen rent, then higher chances that you are not finding out the true cost of your pizza. See, to make and sell this pizza, I had also paid a rent. I had also paid a rent. And guys, whatever rent I pay, it's a fixed lump sum amount and it is never in the form of rent per pizza. It is always rent per month or rent per annum. Correct? Now let us say I have paid 24,000 rent per annum and I budgeted to make and sell 4,000 pizzas. So what is the answer that I get? 24,000 upon 4,000 is 6. Now, what I will say is that I am charging $6 of rent to one pizza. Because see, can I say I will be making and selling 4,000 pizzas during the year? So in a way, the rent, the factory rent, the kitchen rent that you are paying is also the cost of making and selling a pizza, right? If you don't have a kitchen, then how can you make a pizza? So this is cost which is exclusively incurred for making and selling pizzas. So I will now say that my cost per pizza is 26. I will not say that it is 20. I will say it is 26. Everyone understood. Everyone understood this. Perfect. Now, guys, this what I have written 6. I will call it as my absorbed overheads. Now, what do I mean by absorb is charge. What do I mean by absorb is to charge. For every one pizza I make, I charge rupees 6 to one pizza towards rent. Okay. Everyone understood this. Because can I say the rent that I have paid 24,000, I will be recovering by sale of pizzas. So I need to know that for one pizza I made and sold, how much of rent I have to charge to this. Because you will be recovering this rent also from your customers, right? Will you be paying rent out of your own pocket? No, you will be recovering it from your customer. So if your one customer asks you for a pizza, what will you say? That, okay, my cost is 26. I add a profit of 14. I am selling this pizza for 40. So this is the reason you add 6 to the cost of your product. And this 6 is my absorbed overheads. That is the overheads that are charged to a product. Everyone understood this. Now, can I say my rent amount will remain fixed no matter my activity level? So what happens over here is as the activity level increases, the rent per pizza keeps on decreasing. The total remains the same. So if we happen to draw a graph, pay attention what happens to my graph. I have a downward sloping curve, right? I have a curve, a kind of a C-shaped curve, kind of. Okay. Everyone understood. So this is my fixed cost per unit. So can we make a conclusion? Variable cost per unit remains the same. Total keeps on changing in relation to the activity level. Fixed cost, total remains the same. Per unit cost keeps on changing in relation to the activity level. Everyone with me so far? Everyone with me so far? Perfect. Next, I have is a stepped fixed cost. Stepped fixed cost. Now the name itself tells me stepped. My fixed cost remains the same up to a certain level. Once I cross that activity level, my fixed cost will suffer a step up. Okay. The best example that I can give you is, let us say in my kitchen where the pizzas are being made and sold, it's my rule that for every 500 pizzas manufactured, sorry, not manufactured, made, I will have one supervisor. As soon as I make 501st pizza, I will have second supervisor in place. Okay. Now the amount or the salary that I pay to the supervisor, can I say it will be fixed? A fixed monthly salary to a supervisor. That okay, you need to ensure that the qualities are of pizzas are optimum. Now, till 1000 pizzas, my supervisor's salary would be same. The moment I cross 1000 pizzas, I make my 1001st pizza, I will need to hire another supervisor. So, until a certain activity level is reached, my fixed cost remains the same. My activity level increases, my fixed cost suffer a step up. The example, let us discuss, understand it with the help of a diagram. Okay. Such costs are similar, but up to a certain level of activity. After the upper limit is reached, the fixed costs suffer a step up. Okay. For example, for every 5,000 pizza made, a supervisor is required whose annual salary is $8,000. So for every pizza over and above the number 5,000, I will require one more supervisor. For example, if I make 5,000 pizzas, I will need one supervisor. If I make 10,000 pizzas, I will need two supervisors and so on. So what I have done over here is I have written different activity levels. Number of pizzas made and sold 2,500, 5,000, 7,500, and so on. So for every 5,000 pizzas, I require one supervisor. So if I'm making 2,500 pizzas, can I say I'll still require one supervisor? If I make 5,000 pizzas, I'll still require one supervisor. Okay, what if I'm making 7,500 pizzas? I'll require two supervisors. See, the number of supervisors cannot be half. We cannot say, sir, 1.5. You'll require one full supervisor only. 10,000, you'll require two. 15,000, 12,500, you'll require three. 15,000 again, you'll require three. Okay, everyone understood this? Now, what happens is, what is the salary that I'm paying to one supervisor? 8,000. Multiplied by the number of supervisors. Multiplied by the number of supervisors. Okay. Now, what I do is, I draw a graph over here. Now, if you try to understand what is happening is, the fixed cost till the activity level of 5,000 remains the same. Once my activity level exceeds 5,000, I suffer a step up. It remains the same till 10,000. Once my activity level increases, it suffers a step up. So don't you think this somewhat looks like a step? It somewhat looks like a step. So this is what do I mean by step up fixed cost. Everyone understood this. Step fixed cost. Everyone understood this?
Yes, sir.
Guys, feel free to ask me doubts if you have any. You can raise your hand and ask me doubts. Don't shy away from asking me the doubt. Okay. Next and last is semi-variable cost. Now, guys, semi-variable cost, they contain features of both the variable and the fixed cost. So a combination of variable and fixed cost is my semi-variable cost. Okay. The best example that I can give you is the electricity bill that you receive at your home every month. Now, when you get a chance after today's lecture, have a look at your electricity bill. Some portion of your electricity bill will be fixed. No matter you use electricity, you consume electricity or no, you will be paying those charges. And some of your electricity cost depends on the kilowatts that you have consumed, the units of electricity that you have consumed. So this is what do I mean by a semi-variable cost. Some portion is fixed and some is variable. Okay, everyone. So you must have seen that even if there is no electricity usage for a month, then also you will be receiving a minimum bill, maybe 250 rupees, 300 rupees, and so on. But the variable component depends on your consumption. Higher the consumption, then higher would be your, what I say is, electricity bill. Okay. So semi-variable cost. Semi-variable costs contain both fixed and variable elements and are therefore partly affected by a change in activity. Let us say the landlord of my pizza shop visited me and asked me for a revised rent agreement. Now, as per the new agreement, rent will be paid as follows. He tells me that no matter what, every month you will be paying me $1,500. No matter your activity level, even if you make and sell zero pizzas or you make and sell 1,000 pizzas, you'll have to give me 1,500 fixed rent. Plus, you will also have to pay me $0.25 per pizza sold. So for every one pizza that I make and sell, I'll have to give him 0.25 per pizza. So can I say this is my fixed component and this is my variable component? Now let us try and understand how do we derive at my total rent in such cases. Okay. Now guys, the rent here is per month, 1,500. So if I make and sell zero pizzas, can I say my fixed component will be 1,500 multiplied by 12? Just give me a minute, I'll plug in the charger. And can I say the variable component will be zero in this case? Because I have made and sold zero pizzas. Now talking about 2,500. Now can I say my fixed component will remain the same no matter my activity level? However, my variable component will be 0.25 per pizza multiplied by the number of pizzas. And I copy and paste this formula. What I get is my total rent. So total rent will be fixed component plus the variable component. Fixed component plus the variable component. Everyone understood? Now let us have a look at the diagram over here. The orange line over here represents my fixed component, okay, which is 18,000 per annum. And the gray line represents my total cost. So my total cost, that is my total rent, that will not start from zero. Why? Can I say, even if the activity level is zero, I will still be paying 18,000 of rent? And hence, my rent does not start from zero over here. It does not start from here. It starts from here only. Even if the activity level is zero, you will still be paying rent. Okay? So this is how a diagram for semi-variable cost will look like.
Sir, I did not understand. Can you please repeat it again?
Okay. Now, can I say here, there are two components of rent, fixed and variable. No matter my activity level, I am going to pay 18,000 fixed component, fixed rent. My variable keeps on changing in relation to the activity level. So even if my activity level is zero, can I say my rent will still be 18,000? And hence my fixed cost will start from here only. It will be parallel to x-axis. It will be parallel to x-axis. However, your total variable cost, it will be upward sloping. Your total variable cost is, sorry, not total variable, total semi-variable cost or your total cost. Can I say your total cost is increasing? And hence the gray line is an upward slope, not from zero, but from 18,000. Because even at an activity level of zero pizzas, you will still be incurring a cost of 18,000. So it cannot start from zero, it has to start from 18,000. Got it? Everyone understood this. Okay. So with this, we are done with the types of cost. And guys, these are the golden rules of management accounting. Okay. You need to keep this in mind throughout our MA syllabus, fixed cost, variable cost. Preeti, sir, can you please give example of variable cost of rent part? You understood now, Preeti, or you want me to explain it again? Preeti, you understood or you want me to okay, understood. Perfect. Now the way we prepare profit and loss account in our financial accounting. Here in our cost accounting and management accounting, we prepare a cost card which tells us how much does it cost to make a product. How much does it cost to make a product? So cost card. This is how I prepare my cost card. Okay. It is direct material plus direct labor plus direct expenses. And guys, all these amounts are per unit. It gives me prime cost. To prime cost, I add my variable production overheads. I get total variable production cost. I add fixed production overheads to this. And guys, if I am telling fixed production overheads, then always absorbed, never the total. Why? Because all the amounts here are per unit. All the amounts here are per unit. Ritesh, we will discuss it at the end of today's class, okay? Let us just focus on the lecture for now. I will tell you everything, what you need to do, okay? Okay. So fixed production overheads, guys, will always be absorbed overheads and never your total overheads. Everyone understood this. You only think and tell me, does it logically feel fine? You're writing direct materials 5, this as 5, 2, 5, 3. You get your prime cost. You take this as 3. You get total variable production cost of 13. And to this, you are adding 1,50,000. Does this make sense? Can you add total amount with per unit amount? You cannot. So fixed cost also you will have to find out per unit. That is your absorbed overhead. Okay, everyone understood this. What I get is total production cost. And guys, inventory is always valued at total production cost. Okay. So if the entity, now see, there are two ways to find out the costing. Okay, we have two system of costing. First one is the absorption costing that we are doing so far, where inventory is always valued at total production cost, or also known as total cost of production. If I am following marginal costing system, then in such a case, inventory is always valued at total variable cost of production. Everyone understood this. Now, what do I mean by marginal? One additional. How much does it cost you to produce one more unit? And hence, I value my inventory at total variable cost of production. Everyone understood this. Everyone. So absorption costing, you value your inventory at production cost. Marginal costing, you are valuing your inventory at total variable cost of production. Okay. Now, to the total production cost, you add non-production overheads, which is your administrative, selling, and distribution. You get total cost per unit. Now, the reasons for adding these costs is you need to know how much to recover from the customer, right? Because at the end, you will also be recovering all these costs from your customer. You won't be incurring these costs from your pocket. You will be getting it recovered from your customer. Hence, you add these costs. Now, let us say you get to know that your total cost is 125. Will you sell this at any price which is less than 125? Never. Why would you sell a product at loss? Okay. And hence, we add these costs as well. But mind you, inventory is always valued at total production cost. In case of absorption costing, in case of marginal costing, your inventory will be valued at total variable production cost.
So can you
Tell me,
please, can you please differentiate absorption costing and marginal costing even more clearly? Sorry, I mean, I got it, but there's little confusion.
sure. Now see, there are two ways how the entities value their inventory. First one is the absorption costing system. Second one is the marginal costing system. Now, what we had done in the previous example over here, the pizza stuff that we had discussed. Where did I write it? This one. Now here, I had absorbed 6 of my fixed overheads into my cost of the product. So this system that we are following is absorption costing system. Okay, where any fixed cost that you incur, certain portion of it, you charge it to single product by absorbing them. If you are following marginal costing system, then what does the businessman think over here is how much does it cost us additional to make one more unit? How much does it cost us additional to make one more unit? Now, see, I am not concerned with the fixed cost over here. No matter my fixed cost, my activity level is 0 or it is 1 lakh, I am still going to pay fixed cost, same fixed cost only. So if I incur or if I, manufacture one more unit, one more additional unit, what are the costs that I will be incurring is direct material. I'll have to incur it. Direct labor, I will have to incur it. Direct expenses, I will have to incur it. Variable overheads, I will have to incur it. So the sum total of this is my total variable cost of production. Understood?
So basically, in marginal costing, we only consider total fixed cost as one element and we are not taking it per product.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Suraj, you understood? Absorption and marginal?
Yes, sir. I understand.
No problem. Now here I have written all the examples. You can, just read through them once I share these notes with you. Okay. You can read through this once I share the notes with you. Then next I have this cost object, cost unit, and cost center. Now this is just simple thing we need to know. It will not be tested in your PM exam. Okay. I just want to tell you that okay. So just for our knowledge, now we have cost objects, cost units, and cost centers. Cost objects. A cost object is any activity for which a separate measurement of cost is undertaken. For example, the cost of a product, the cost of a service, or the cost of a particular department. Now, let us say if I am making and selling pizzas, then my cost object will be pizza. My cost object will be pizza because I am carrying out all the activities, right? And for this activity, I will be having a separate measurement of cost. I have a measurement of cost. If I am someone who is dealing in cars, then manufacturing cars, then car will be my cost object. Okay. What I have next is a cost unit. Now, it is a unit of a product or service in relation to which costs may be ascertained. The cost unit should be appropriate to the type of business. Okay. Now, for example, in case of VGLD, it will be cost per student. Correct. For Domino's or Pizza Hut, it will be cost per pizza. For airline industries, it will be cost per passenger. Correct. For builder, it will be cost per square feet or square foot. Okay. And a cost center, it is a location or a function, activity or specific equipment for which costs can be identified, such as sales area, stores, vehicle machine, etc. Understood this? Everyone understood this? Okay. Preeti, I will be uploading these notes with you. And we will be, some of the chapters, we will be taking them from our VGLD textbook only. So I believe you must have received either the soft copy or the hard copy. I'm not sure, but you must have received these notes with you. Okay. So some of the chapters we will be taking from the textbook, our VGLD textbook. Sir, how can we bifurcate fixed and semi-fixed costs if we have more than one cost objects? See, cost objects, that's fine now. Nothing to do with the bifurcation over here for the cost objects. What do I mean by cost object here is the activity for which you are incurring cost. You don't have to bifurcate it. Okay. Sir, are we going to refer to only VGLD or any other book as well? Okay, guys, I'll, tell it right away. So we will be referring VGLD book. And for questions, we will be taking them from Study Hub. So every questions that I am solving in class are taken from ACCA Study Hub, guys. Okay. Now in your ACCA Study Hub, you have two questions. One is practice and another one is quiz questions. So once you log into your ACCA Study Hub, you will be having practice question. This will be classed in, this will be solved in class. And you have quiz questions for every chapter that we will be doing. And this will be your homework. So all the chapters, as and when we are done, it will be your responsibility to solve these questions as homework from your study hub. Everyone? And if you have any doubts or questions, you will be asking it to me in the upcoming class. Now, let us say for today, we will be doing ABC costing, that is activity-based costing today. So if you have, you will be solving questions from these chapter on Study Hub, the quiz questions. If you have any doubts, then you will have to ask it to me on the upcoming weekend lecture. Okay, in the upcoming weekends class. Everyone, and guys, you will have to be regular with your homework because I'll tell you one thing, PM is more of logical. The more you practice, the good grip you develop over PM. Okay. So PM has nothing to do with any, hardcore theory or something like this. You will have to be logical. So how do you develop your logic? Is by just by practicing more and more questions. Just by practicing more and more questions. Everyone understood this. Okay. No, Shreyashi, both of them will be our MCQ questions only. So the constructed response question, section C question, we will be doing them as and when we come across the chapter. Section C are not tested from all of your chapters. The chapters which they are tested from, we will be doing it as and when we come through it. Okay. So practice questions is also your, what I say is MCQs, and your quiz questions will also be MCQs. There is no change in the syllabus in PM. Okay. Vajreshwari, we just discussed it, right? The paper pattern. I hope you had you joined late. We had discussed the paper pattern already. The question paper will have three sections, A, B, and C. A and B will be MCQ based, and section C will be constructed response kind. Okay. Preeti, let us not stick to any other books because the more number of books I tell you, out of my experience, the more number of books you refer, the more confused you will be. Now, let us say you have referred multiple books. Now, at the end, a day before your exam, if you have not even, you are not able to complete a particular book, it will affect your confidence like anything. I have not done or solved questions from this book. It will affect your confidence. So, what we do is we stick to one thing only. We stick to ACCA Study Hub only. Everyone. And there are around 400 to 450 questions on your study hub. So we just stick to it. No other books, guys. Okay. Trust me, whatever we will be doing is purely exam oriented. And it will all be your exam standard questions only that we will be doing in class. Everyone. So please don't refer any other exam kit, nothing like that. Understood. Okay. So this was all the basic that we actually required or needed for our performance management subject. Now we are starting with our very first chapter of this subject, PM, performance management. There is a theory chapter which is first, and I'm not doing it today. We will do theory, we will keep theory for the end. Okay. I don't want to bore you guys with the theory on day one itself. So let us take a practical subject, a practical approach, which is activity-based costing. Okay, let us take activity-based costing. Just allow me a minute. I'll open the textbook from my end. Just give me a minute, guys. Just give me a minute. I'll be back. Okay. Guys, activity based costing. Okay. So far, what we have done is, if you understand or you recollect the example that we had discussed, what we had done over there was, just a minute, what we had done was we were absorbing the fixed cost, right? So let us say what I did is my fixed cost, and let us be more specific, I'll write rent, the kitchen rent, okay? Let us say my kitchen rent was 15 lakhs and my budgeted pizzas to be sold was 1 lakh. So what we used to do in such a case was, can I say, we used to say that overheads absorbed per pizza, okay, is 15 lakhs divided by 1 lakhs, which is 15. So this is what I call it as overhead absorption rate. Okay. Now, how did I arrive at overhead absorption rate? OAR is equal to fixed overheads, or rather, let me write budgeted fixed overheads. Budgeted fixed overheads divided by budgeted activity level. Correct? This is the same thing that we had done. Now, instead of writing it in numbers, I'm just giving the formula. So what is my budgeted fixed overheads? What are my budgeted fixed cost over here? 15 lakhs. I'll just write, guys, over here. I'll erase the word rent. I'll tell you why I have erased it, okay? And I will divide it by the budgeted activity level, which is 1 lakh. So this gave me an overhead absorption rate of 15 per pizza. Okay. So every time I make and sell one pizza, I have to charge 15 of the cost. I have to charge $15 or rupees 15 towards one pizza. Okay, this is what do I mean by OAR. Now, this is what happens in our traditional costing system. This is my traditional, this is what I call it as my traditional absorption costing system. Okay. This is the system that we have been following till date. Everyone with me so far? Budgeted means budgeted that I am expecting to incur in the upcoming financial year, Vasavi. Okay. Everyone with me so far? This is what do I mean by my traditional absorption costing system. But if we speak of logic, then guys, this is not that much logical. This approach is not that much logical. Now they are saying if we are following traditional absorption costing system, then it assumes that all the fixed overheads are volume related. All the fixed overheads that are incurred are volume related, which is not the case every time. Okay, not all my fixed overheads are volume related. Now let us say the office rent that the factory rent that I pay, the factory rent that I am paying, is it volume related? Does it depend on volume? Meaning to say, does it actually depend on the number of units that I produce? The answer is no. So, a deemed assumption, an assumption that we used to make till date in a traditional absorption costing system, that all the overheads are volume related. All the overheads depend on output, which is incorrect. Which is incorrect. So, what is the more logical approach now for activity based costing is something that we do like this. What we do is, what are my total fixed costs? My total budgeted fixed costs, guys? What are my total budgeted fixed costs? 15 lakhs. Now, what we do in ABC, I'll, just take this above. I'll take this above. This is my traditional absorption costing system. I'll just put it in. Okay. Now, what next I do is I give the heading activity based costing. What happens in my activity based costing? And this is also known as ABC costing. Technically, it should be known as AB costing only, but everyone calls it as activity based cost, ABC costing, that is activity based cost. What are my total fixed overheads above? What were my total fixed overheads above, guys? Anyone? Come on, guys, let's make this class more interactive and participative. What were my total fixed overheads above? You can unmute yourself and give me the answer.
Let's
15 lakhs. My total fixed overheads were 15 lakhs. Now, what I am trying to do here, over here, is I divide this 15 lakhs into different cost pools. Just a minute. What I try to do here is I divide this into different cost pools. That out of 15 lakhs, how much is towards my inspection costs? Correct? How much is towards my receipt costs, material receipt costs? How much is towards my factory rent? And so on. So this is what do we do is that, okay, out of the total 15 lakhs that we have paid, let us break it down. Let us break it down. Now we got to know that out of 15 lakhs, 5 lakhs is for my inspection cost. Now, what do I mean by inspection cost? Before I dispatch these goods to the warehouse as my finished product, I get my goods inspected by an engineer. You have to do the quality testing. because I don't want any customer complaints. So these are the costs that I incur. There are certain costs that I incur with respect to the receipt of the raw materials. Now, again, this will be my fixed cost. Now, let us say this is, I take the number as 4 lakhs. I take this as 4 lakhs. What is the balance number? 6 lakhs. Okay. Now, what we try to do is, I do not absorb these costs. Now, I hope everyone understands what do I mean by absorb. Everyone understands what do I mean by absorb? Absorb means to charge it to the product to find out the per unit cost. Everyone? Okay. Now, what we are doing over here is in ABC costing, the word itself says activity based. What is the thing that uh, affects my inspection cost? We try to find out the reasons for the costs. We try to find out the reasons for the costs. And what is the reason for my inspection cost? Can I say my inspection cost will depend on my number of inspections carried out? Yes or no? So what we are trying to do over here is that my inspection cost actually depends on my number of inspections. It does not depend on the number of units that are manufactured or number of units that are sold. Receipt cost. Can I say this will depend on my number of receipts? Higher the receipts, higher would be the cost. I change this from factory rent to setup cost for now. Okay. I change this from factory rent to setup cost. And guys, my setup cost will depend on the number of setups. Now, guys, if I am starting my manufacturing stuff, I need to set up my machine before I introduce my raw materials. If I am someone who is dealing in cookies, then you must be knowing that if you want to bake cookies, you need to preheat the oven. How many of you know this? You cannot directly keep the cookies into an oven. You need to preheat it. So this is something that I call as my setup cost. Higher the number of setups, higher would be my setup costs. So in ABC costing, we believe or we assume that, not assume, we believe that it is the activity that drives the cost and not simply the output level or not simply the production level. So what we have done over here is the total cost of 15 lakhs, we have divided into different cost pools. So all these inspection costs, receipt costs, and setup costs are known as my cost pools. And my number of inspections, number of receipts, number of setups are all known as my cost driver. So these are something that drives my costs. Everyone understood this. Everyone understood this. Cost pools and cost driver. We break the entire total fixed cost into different cost pools. Each of the cost pools is assigned a cost driver. Everyone understood? Tell me if you have any questions. Prakhar, you will come to know about this when we, solve illustrations. Okay. Setup cost is not one time. This is just an example of bakery that I have taken. Every time you want to manufacture some goods, you need to set up your cost. Okay. You will have to incur setup cost before your batch processing starts. Okay. You will understand this when we come across the illustrations. Okay. So everyone understood. So which method do you think is more logical? Is it the traditional absorption costing system is more logical or activity based costing is more logical? ABC. Okay. We are dividing the cost into different pools and we are assigning a cost driver. And this involves a research to be done. So, guys, every advantage has its own disadvantage. The disadvantage here is it becomes difficult to explain the calculations of ABC costing to the different stakeholders. Okay. The costs of this ABC costing will be exceeding your benefits. If the cost of ABC activity exceeds the benefits, then it's of minimal use. Now, what do I mean by cost over here? See, to break these costs into different costs, to divide it into cost pools and to, assign a cost driver involves a heavy research activity to be done. You need to spend your time heavily. So let us say you have put your employees into ABC costing that, okay, gather some information on ABC costing. What will happen is this will affect the ordinary routine activities of your employees. So in a way, you are incurring a cost. Okay. So let me come to the textbook part of ABC costing. We are done with the concept. We then solve illustrations and then we are done with this chapter. Let me come to the textbook over here. Okay. So we are done with activity-based costing, cost driver over here. We will be solving the illustrations, need not worry. Hmm, That's fine. Let us discuss advantages, guys. First advantages is better decision making. Okay. First advantage is better decision making. Now we all agreed that uh, traditional absorption costing system is less of logical. So the chances of you getting the true cost of your product are less. Agree? The chances of you getting your true cost of the products are less. Okay. So if you follow or if you implement ABC costing, then it will help you make better decisions. Because if the overheads absorbed are incorrect, if you are following traditional costing system, the overheads that are absorbed are incorrect, the cost will be incorrect. Cost is incorrect, your selling prices will be incorrect. Yes or no? So this is how ABC helps you in better decision making. Second is improved pricing accuracy. When cost plus pricing is used, ABC ensures that the prices are more likely to achieve the desired margins because you get your true cost of the product. Next is enhanced cost understanding. Now here you get to know that, okay, what is something that drives your cost? You are able to understand your cost in more detail. And if you are able to understand your cost in more detail, you are in a position to control your cost. Because if you know that, okay, this is something that is causing a cost, that is driving a cost, you can control it. It helps you control your costs. Last is more accurate performance measurement. Now, this leads to better performance management overall. Okay. Then, what I say is disadvantages. Dependency on budgeted overheads. ABC is still based on budgeted overheads in the current period, which may be unsuitable for future strategic decisions. Guys, you cannot take future strategic decisions taking your budgeted cost as a base. If you want to look into future, you need to have information pertaining to the future. Second is complexity and selection of cost drivers. Now, guys, this is not easy. Theoretically, it might look easy that, okay, we are dividing the cost and selecting a cost driver. Practically, it is quite a complex calculation, about quite a complex exercise to be done. And we all discuss this additional time and cost. Setting up and administering the ABC system incurs additional time and cost. Everyone understood this. Okay, everyone. We are also discussed in a way the comparison of ABC and traditional methods. You can just go through these for once. Okay, you can just go through these for once. Okay, everyone understood. Tell me if you have any doubts or questions. Now, what happens is, how is this presented in the cost card? I'll tell you. So if you remember the cost card, let me open those notes. Let me open the notes that we had just discussed. Is my screen visible to you? See, the treatment remains the same. Earlier, you were writing this amount using your traditional costing system. You are now writing this amount using your ABC costing system. The treatment still remains the same. Whatever amount you get, you write it here. Instead of traditional, you now take the amount as per your ABC. Understood? Okay. So, guys, it's 2 p.m. We take a 15-minute break and we resume at, it's 1:57, right? We resume at 2:12. Okay, I'll put it in the chat box. We have a break till 2:12. And we solve illustrations on ABC costing. Everyone? Don't leave the meeting. Be there in the meeting room. Just keep your cameras and mics off. That's it. Okay. Hello. Are we all back? Okay. Then let us practice illustrations on ABC analysis. Okay. The section A question. Okay. Is my screen visible to you guys? Okay. Just to add some more points to this, let us say the number of inspection turns out to be 1 lakh in this illustration. Okay. I'm just adding it to 1 lakh over here. Number of inspection is 1 lakh. So what I will get is cost per inspection. Cost per inspection is 5. That is 5 lakhs divided by 1 lakh. Okay. Everyone. Now let us say that in one inspection, we are getting 10 units inspected. So number of units in one inspection is, let us say, 10. So what is my inspection per unit now? Inspection cost per unit. It will be 5 divided by 10 equal to 0.5. So this is the idea behind or the logic behind ABC costing. Everyone understood. So keeping the same thing in mind, let us solve first illustration. Okay. What amount, guys, exactly the same way you will be approaching your question. Whenever you come across a question, you first read the requirement part and then the main question. Because once you read the requirement part, you now know what is the requirement. And you will be reading question accordingly, which will help you gather the information. Curtis runs a printing business. He estimates that his printing machine will need to be set up 200 times per month. So what are the number of setup times per month? 200. At a monthly total cost of 80,000. Now, item number 2145 has to be printed in batches of 50 copies. Okay. Where each batch requires the machine to be set up twice. Now, Curtis expects the annual demand for item 2145 to be 5,000 copies. They are asking us to find out the amount to be charged to each copy of item number 2145 for the setup costs. Firstly, what is my total setup cost? So can I say this total setup cost is my cost pool? Total setup cost is my cost pool. Now, what is my cost driver over here? Can I say cost driver would be number of setups per month? Yes or no? Number of setups per month. What is my number of setups per month, guys? 200. Correct? Number of setups per month is 200. So if I want to find out what is my cost per setup, cost per setup, can I say it will cost me 80,000 divided by 200, which is 400. How did I get this? 80,000 divided by 200. My cost per setup is 400. Correct. So what is my cost per copy? The question does not ask me cost per setup. It asks me the cost per copy. So what is my cost per copy? In a batch, how many copies are there in a batch? Anyone?
50 copies.
50 copies. But what is my cost per copy? Sorry, cost per setup. 400 divided by 50. This is for one setup, right? This is for one setup. But the question says each batch requires the machine to be set up twice. So I multiply it by 2. Everyone understood? 400 divided by 50 multiplied by 2. Answer is 16. Let me know if you have any doubts or questions. Any doubts or questions, guys? Just a minute, I'll put this in silent. Should we go to the next illustration? Now, these are the types of questions that you can
Repeat
just
it. How
just
did
a
we
minute.
arrive at?
Vasavi, see, whenever I am speaking, I request you to raise your hand and please never interrupt me. I was saying something very important. So you can raise your hand and wait for me to call out your name. Okay? Guys, these are the type of questions that you can expect in your section A. Okay? These are the exam standard questions only. Yes, Vasavi, now tell me.
So how did we arrive at cost per copy? I will not understand. Will you please repeat it again?
So cost per copy, it is 400 per setup divided by, in a batch, there are 50 copies. So I divided by 50. And each batch requires the machine to be set up twice. So multiplied by 2. Okay? Understood.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, next question. Okay. What is the warehousing cost for the first day of operations for the period? Mido company uses an activity-based costing. The budgeted uh, cost for warehousing for the next 6 months are 3,56,014, of which 2,15,414 is regarding the handling receipts of material. The balance is for the issue of goods to the production. In the same period, it is expected that there will be 3,700 receipts and 2,500 issued. On the first day of operations for the period, the company processed 14 receipts and 6 issued. Okay, so they are asking us what is the warehousing cost for the first day of operations for the period. Okay, now pay attention. How do we solve this question? I'll have to convert this into a table. Particulars. I have total cost. Guys, all the cameras on quickly. I have cost driver. I have units of cost driver. And next is cost per unit of cost driver. Okay. This is the table that you'll have to prepare. What is the first cost? What is the first cost? Issue of goods. And second is handling receipts of material. So, issue of goods and handling receipts of material. That's fine. What is the total cost that is given to us? They are saying that total cost is 3,56,014. So I first write down the total cost, which is 3,56,014. Out of which they are saying that 2,15,414 is regarding handling of receipts. So here I write 2,15,414. So how much will be my issue of goods? The difference of the two? Yes or no? Okay. Now let us decide the cost driver for each of the costs. Issue of goods, can I say the cost driver will be the number of issues? Handling receipts, the cost driver will be the number of receipts. What are the units of cost driver? Meaning to say, what are the total number of issues? 2,500. And total number of receipts is 3,700. Now, what is cost per unit of cost driver? It means total cost divided by the units of cost driver, which is 56.24. How did I get this? 1,40,600 divided by 2,500. And I copied the same formula. How did I get this? 2,15,414 divided by 3,700. Everyone understood this? Now, this is not the answer. They are asking us warehousing cost for the first day of operations. Now, they are saying on the first day, there were 14 receipts and 6 issues. So, warehousing costs for the first day of operation. First one is issue of goods. Second one is handling receipts. So, issue of goods, can I say it will be what? What are the number of issues on first day? 6. So it will be 6 issues multiplied by $56.24 per issue. And handling of receipts, it will be Handling receipts, it will be how many receipts? 14 receipts multiplied by 58.22 per receipt. Everyone understood this. It is 6 multiplied by 56.24 and 14 multiplied by 58.22. So my total cost is 1152 point 1152.52. Option B. Let me know if you have any doubts or questions on this. Perfect, guys. Clear. Very good. Anyone else? Any other doubt on this? Okay. Then let us go to the next illustration. Let us go through the next illustration. What is the budgeted machine setup cost per unit of product S? Okay, they are asking about the machine setup cost per unit of product S. Just allow me a minute. Hmm. So let us read out the question. RS company has recently introduced an activity-based costing system. It manufactures two products, details of which are given below. Product R, product S. Budgeted production per year, batch size, machine setup per batch, processing time per unit. The budgeted annual cost for the two activities are as follows. Machine setup and processing. Firstly, which cost are they asking us? The machine setup or the processing cost? Machine setup cost. Okay, they are asking us about the machine setup cost. Now, how do we proceed with this? Pay attention. What is my total machine setup cost? Now, here I don't require the table. You'll understand why. Okay. What is my total machine setup cost? 1,80,000. Why I am taking machine setup cost only? Because the question asked me to do so. Okay. So the total machine setup cost 1,80,000. Okay. Now, what are the total number of what I say is machine setup? Total number of machine setup. Okay. Let me find out the number of machine setup. Okay. Now, guys, can I say number of machine setups will be for both the product R and product S? It's not just for product R nor for just for product S. It is for both. How many units of product R are we producing? Budgeted production 80,000. And what is the batch size for product R? 100. So can I say this will give me the number of machine setup for product R? So will it be fine to write 80,000 divided by 100 plus I'll also have to do the same thing for product S as well. 60,000 divided by 50. 60,000 divided by 50. I got total number of machine setups. Understood? Everyone with me so far? So what is my cost per setup? Cost per setup. It is 1,80,000 divided by 2,000. Yes or no? And in one setup, how many units of product S are there? 50? In one batch, there are 50 units of product S. So, divided by what I say is, I simply write number of units in one batch of product S, or one batch for product S. It is 50. So what is my machine setup cost per unit of product S? It will be 90 divided by 50. Let me know if you have any questions. And my answer is option B. Everyone understood this. So these are the types of questions that you can expect in your exam. Okay? These are section A only. Yes, Prafar.
Sir, in number of machine setups, why we added the R and S cost?
See, this 1,80,000 cost is not just incurred for S, not for R. This is the total cost 1,80,000 that is incurred for both the products R and S. Hence, I will have to take the total number of machine setups. I just cannot take it for R nor for S. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Yes, Suraj.
Sir, I was not very clear with the explanation. Can you just explain it again a little bit slower?
This illustration.
Yeah, yes, sir, this illustration.
Okay. The question asks me, what is the budgeted machine setup cost per unit of product S? So firstly, what is my machine setup cost? 1,80,000. What I do is I divide the total machine setup cost 1,80,000. I divide it by the total number of setups. And how do I get the total number of setups for product R? It will be 80,000 divided by 100. For product S, it will be 60,000 divided by 50. So what is the total number of setups? 2,000. Now I want to find out cost per setup. So cost per setup will be 1,80,000 divided by 2,000, which is 90. Understood?
Sir, but they gave the machine setups per batch. Why are we not considering that?
Sorry. Please come again.
They gave the machine setups per batch as 3 each. Why are we not considering that?
No, we are not considering that, right? Because they are asking us the budgeted machine setup cost per unit. This is given just to confuse us. Machine setup per batch.
Okay, so they
That's
ask per
fine.
unit, so you take it per unit, not per
Yes,
batch.
per unit. Perfect.
Okay,
Perfect. I took it per
thank you,
unit.
sir.
Everyone got this. Okay.
If
Yes.
they are asking for as per batches, then what should we do? And what is the correct answer?
Sorry.
If there is a mention the setup cost per unit, if there is mention if the cost as per batches.
Then it would be cost per batch only. So it's 90 only, right? The
Yeah.
cost per batch is 90. You need not do anything. 90 is your answer. Okay.
Yeah, understood.
Okay. Next question. is a theory question, which is a true and false based. Identify by selecting the relevant boxes in the table below whether the following statements regarding activity-based costing are true or false. ABC recognizes that some overhead costs do not depend directly on the volume of output. Who would like to answer this? Is this true or it's false? Tell me, who would like to answer this? Is this true or it's false?
Sir, it's true.
It's true. Perfect. The cost of implementing activity-based costing may exceed the benefits for some businesses. We had just discussed it before the break. Yes, it's true. Okay, it's true again. Okay. Using activity-based costing, what is the overhead cost per unit of the product? The budgeted overheads of Namro company for the next year have been analyzed as follows. We have purchase order processing costs, production run setup costs, machine running costs. Guys, mind you, all the amounts are in thousands. Okay, all the amounts are in thousands. It is anticipated that the machines will run for 32,000 hours. 6,000 purchase orders will be processed and there will be 450 production runs. One of the company's products is produced in batches of 500. Now, each batch requires a separate production run, 30 purchase orders and 750 machine hours. Using activity-based costing, what is the overhead cost per unit of the product? Okay. Now, how do we proceed with this? I will again have to prepare this table. And why do I have to prepare this table is because we have multiple overheads, right? We have three different overheads. So first one I have is the purchase order processing costs. Total cost, I will be writing the full amount. So it will be 450 multiplied by 1000. Why did I multiply it by 1000? Because all the amounts are in thousands. Everyone understood this. What is the cost driver for the purchase order processing cost? Who can help me out with this? What is the cost driver for purchase order processing cost?
Sir, purchase orders.
Number of purchase orders. And what are the units of purchase orders? 6,000. Next, production run setup cost. What will be the cost driver for the production run setup cost?
Number of production runs.
Perfect, number of production runs. So here I'll write number of production runs and which is 450 and machine hours. Machine running cost will be the number of machine hours. And number of machine hours is 32,000. So what is my cost per unit of cost driver? 4,50,000 divided by 6,000, 1,80,000 divided by 450 and 6,40,000 divided by 32,000. Okay. Everyone with me so far? Now, what I am doing is I will be taking total of this. Actually, I need not take any total for this only, not required only. To tell you why. What are we supposed to find out is the overhead cost per unit of the product. Okay, so for that, I will first have to find out the batch cost. So, calculation of batch cost. What is my purchase order cost? What is my purchase order cost? Per purchase order, it is
75.
75. And likewise, how many purchase orders are there, guys?
6,000.
30.
30.
30. See, 6,000 is the total purchase order. I don't want the total purchase orders. I want the number of purchase orders for the company's product, which is 30. So this will be equal to 75 multiplied by 30. Next, talking about production run setups. Production run setups, per production run, it is 400 multiplied by how many production runs are we having?
750.
No, 750 is your machine hours. Now they are saying
200.
each batch requires a separate production run. So 400 multiplied by 1. For one batch, there is only one production run. Understood? And last I have is my machine running costs, which is 20 multiplied by what are the machine hours per batch? 750. So 20 multiplied by 750 is 15,000. I now take the total. I get it as 17,650. But what is the batch size, guys? What is the batch size? 500. Are they asking us about the batch or the cost per unit?
Cost per unit.
Cost per unit, right? So what I will do is I will divide this number by the number of units in a batch, which is 500. So what is my overhead cost per unit? $35.30. Option C. Tell me if you have any doubts.
Sir, in
Sir,
production,
explain the calculation.
Guys, if you have a question, you raise your hand one by one. No chorus answers. Yes, Vajreshwari.
Sir, can you explain the calculation of batch cost one more time, sir?
Calculation of batch cost. Okay. Now see, you understood all these costs per unit of cost driver.
Yes, sir.
Now they are saying that goods are produced in batches and each of the batches has 500 units. That is, the batch size is 500. Each batch requires a separate production run. That is, for every one batch, you'll have to you will have to go through one production run. It will have 30 purchase orders and 750 machine hours. So I calculated all these costs for one batch. Purchase order, my per purchase order cost is 75, but for one batch, I am having 30 purchase orders. It will be 75 multiplied by 30, which is 2250. Next, production run setup. How many production run are there for one batch?
30.
One.
1.
I'm talking about production run. 30 is the purchase orders. I'm talking about production run. So it will be 400 multiplied by 1. And machine running cost for one batch, your machine will run for 750 hours. And what is your per hour cost?
20
So,
rupees.
so 20 multiplied by 750 is 15,000. Now this total gives me the total overheads for one batch. Total cost for one batch. I divided by the number of units in a batch, which is 500. I get overhead cost per unit 35.30. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other doubts or questions? Anyone? Okay. Then we take up next illustration. You guys have to give me the answer to this. Why don't this- Tell me, guys. Give me the correct answer. You have to give me the options A, B, C, or D. The following statements have been made about ABC, that is activity-based costing. Introducing ABC will always reduce costs in the short term. If the cost of the product or service using both ABC and absorption costing is same, there will be no benefit to be gained from adopting ABC.
Sir, option B.
Option B.
Yes, sir. Option B. 1 is wrong,
Only
I think.
2 is correct.
One by one, guys, give me the answers one by one. Raise your hand and give me your answer. One is incorrect. This is for sure. It does not reduce your cost in short term. It just helps you in allocation of cost. And also, the cost, they always reduce in the long term, never in the short term. So, one is obviously incorrect. Yes, someone told me option C. Someone gave me the answer option C.
I think option B is the answer.
No, option B is not the answer. We just discussed. Option C. Neither one nor two. Guys, if the cost of a product or service using both ABC and absorption costing is the same, there will be no benefit to be gained from adopting ABC. Guys, this is never the case. Okay. The way you treat the cost, you absorb the cost are all different when you go for both ABC and for absorption costing. So none of the statement is what I say is true. Okay.
Okay,
Yes,
sir.
Suraj.
Sir, but if both of them are giving out the same cost, how is there a benefit derived from ABC?
See, I'll tell you one thing. The benefit about ABC is not just about finding out the true cost, but also controlling the costs. Because if you go into ABC, then what happens is you are focusing more on the cost driver. And once you focus on the cost driver, it actually helps you control the cost. Let us say I talk about inspection costs. Okay. You are inspecting goods in the batch size of 100. Now, this will increase the number of inspections, hence the salary, the inspection cost. What if you change this from 100 to 150, the batch size? The batch size for inspection cost, you change it from 100 to 150. Don't you think this will help you or benefit you reduce your cost? Understood?
It will, sir.
So, yes.
Yeah, but they said uh is the same, right? If the cost of a product or service
So
using both
that's what,
ABC and absorption
yes.
costing is the same,
Hmm. So that's what, see, even if the
then how is
cost
there a
is same,
benefit? Like there is no benefit.
so this is the benefit, right? Don't you think this is a benefit for you? You can help control your cost. This will help you control your cost, and costs getting controlled. Don't you think it's a benefit for you?
Okay, so there is a saving instead of like
That's
it's
what.
not like a direct benefit, it's just a benefit in form of
Yes,
saving.
yes, yes. Everyone
Thank you,
got
sir.
this. See, costing of product or service is not the only objective of ABC. Okay, it is controlling the cost. Now, I want you guys to try this question, guys. Okay? Try this question. Even if it's wrong, then that's fine. We will see where did we go wrong. Okay, but I want you guys to try this question, every one of you. I'll read out the question. What is the distribution cost for this customer? Siemens company uses activity-based costing. The budgeted distribution costs for the next year are transport costs and order processing. The total distribution cost is 42 lakhs 4,200. It is estimated that 3,25,000 orders will be processed in the next year, and that the delivery vehicles will travel 14,95,000 kilometers. A customer has indicated that 138 orders, each requiring an average journey of 122 kilometers, will be placed next year. What is the distribution cost? Giving you 3 minutes, try it out. Everyone.
Sir, option B.
Option B. Okay, we will see. Okay, I got multiple answers. One is B, one is C. So it's a confusion between B and C. How many of you are still trying?
So it would be C option.
No, C is not the answer. Okay, the answer is B. Pay attention, I'm solving it. First one is, what is my transport cost? Transportation costs is 26 lakhs 31,200. You can either go the approach that I am following, or you can make a table as well, guys. See, you will be awarded for your final answer. You don't have to state the steps in your in your exam. Okay. So transport cost is 26 lakhs 31,200. What would be the cost driver for transport cost is the distance traveled. Okay. So what are the number of kilometers traveled? 14 lakhs 95,000. So what is your cost per kilometer traveled? It is this divided by 14 lakh 95,000. That is 1.76. And likewise, what are the total kilometers that are traveled for the customer order? Have they given us total kilometers traveled for the customer order? They have given us the number as 122. So what is my total transport cost? My total transport cost is 1.76 multiplied by 123, which is,
214.72.
sorry, my bad. And okay, but there are 138 orders, guys, and each of them requires 122. So it will be 122 multiplied by 138. Everyone understood this?
Yes, sir.
Each requires an average journey of 122 kilometers. And likewise, there are 138 orders. So 138 multiplied by 122. So my total transport cost is 29,631. Now let us also calculate the ordering cost, order processing cost. What are my order processing costs? Order processing costs are 15 lakh 73,000. What are the number of orders? Total number of orders?
3,25,000.
3 lakh 25,000. What are the number of orders? It is 3 lakh 25,000. So what is my cost per order? I divide it 4.84. And what are the number of orders that will be placed in the next year?
138.
Perfect. Total number of orders is 138. So what is my total order processing cost? I multiply 667.92. But they are asking us the total cost, right? They are asking us the total cost. So what is my total distribution cost? It will be total transport cost plus total order processing cost. That is 29,631 plus 668. How many of you got this correct? Raise your hands. Answer is option B. Answer is option B. Should we go to the next illustration, everyone? Okay. I see only one camera on, guys. Come on, switch your cameras on, everyone, fast. Switch on your cameras, everyone. Okay, guys, you are trying this question. I'm reading it out first. What is the budgeted overhead cost per unit of product D using activity-based costing? Now they are asking about budgeted overhead cost per unit of product D. Okay. A company manufactures two products, C and D, for which the following information is available. Budgeted production in units, labor hours per unit in total, number of production runs required, number of inspections during the production, total production setup cost, total inspection cost, and other overhead costs. Other overhead costs are absorbed based on labor hours per unit. Okay. Giving you 3 minutes. Try this out. What will be the cost driver for production setup costs? Number of production runs. Perfect. Inspection cost will be total number of inspection, and other overhead costs would be labor hours per unit. Actually, total labor hours, not per unit. 96,000 will be divided by the total labor hours. Anyone with the answer? I'm giving 1 more minute, guys. Okay, pay attention. I'll prepare this table and make this table. Okay. My particulars, I have 3 different parts. I have my total cost. Okay. What is my cost driver for the total production setup cost? It is the number of production runs required. For total inspection cost, it will be the number of inspections during production. And other overhead costs are absorbed on the basis of labor hours per unit. Labor hours. Total labor hours. Sorry, this units of cost driver, number of production runs required. Guys, can I say the number of runs required will be 13 plus 15, which is 28. Number of inspections, 5 plus 3, which is 8. And total labor hours, guys, they are saying that budgeted production for C is 1000, of which it requires 8 labor hours per unit in total. Means per unit, it is just taking 8 hours. So it will be 1000 multiplied by 8 plus 4000 multiplied by 10. Everyone understood this? Everyone understood how did we get 48,000? And then I calculate cost per unit of cost driver. That is, I simply divide it. Okay. Now, overheads cost of product D. Firstly, my setup cost. How much does it cost me per setup? 5,000. Likewise, what are the number of setups for product D? 15. So it will be 15 multiplied by 5,000. Next is inspection cost. Next is inspection cost. What is my inspection cost per inspection? 10,000. And for product D, how many inspections do we require? 3. So it would be 3 multiplied by 10,000, which is 30,000. And last is other overheads. For product D, what are the total number of units? 4,000. Each unit is taking 10. And what is my cost per labor hour? 2. So can I say it will be 4,000 multiplied by 10 multiplied by 2? Everyone understood this. Everyone? One lakh 85,000. Guys, no chorus answers. Please never interrupt me. You have an option to raise your hands. You can please raise your hand, wait for me to complete, and please speak. Okay? 1,85,000. And guys, can I say they are asking us per unit, cost per unit of product D? How many units have we produced of product D? 4,000. So, number of units of product D. $46.25. Answer is, how many of you got this correct? How many of you got this correct, guys? Perfect, Vajreshwari. Guys, I am just removing this for your confusion so that you know there is no confusion from your end. So question number 3, the machine setup per batch they have given and removing this information. Okay, not required. So that you have no confusion. Okay. Try this out. Giving 2 minutes. Tell me, guys. Which 3 of the following statements about activity-based costing and traditional costing systems are correct? Okay, that is absorption and marginal overhead. No over-absorption or under-absorption of overheads can occur under ABC. ABC is useful for businesses which have high overheads in their cost structure. ABC is not suitable for use in businesses that provide services. Marginal costing understates the true cost of a product when compared to ABC. ABC is better than absorption costing in understanding what causes the costs to be incurred. And last, both ABC and marginal costing treat all fixed costs as product cost. They are asking us which of the following are true.
Sir, D and E.
D and E. Okay, D and E are correct, but what about the another option? D is correct, E is correct. They are asking us which 3.
Sir, B.
Prakhar says B. Perfect. Even B is correct. So the correct options are B, D, and E. ABC is useful for businesses which have high overheads in their cost structure. Obviously, guys, it is. Marginal costing understates the true cost of a product when compared to ABC. Perfect. Because what happens is, in case of marginal costing, you are valuing your inventory at variable cost of production. Means you are ignoring your fixed production overheads, and hence your inventory will be understated. The cost will be understated. ABC is better than absorption costing and understanding what causes the cost to be incurred. Perfect. This is correct. Something that we just learned when we were going through this. Correct? Everyone got this. B, D, and E are correct answer. Then last question. Try this out, guys. I'm giving you 3 minutes. Try it out, and then I'm solving it. Now, the reason that I'm giving you 3 minutes is slowly and gradually we will be bringing this time down to 2 minutes. Why? Because you have 180 minutes. So for every 1 mark, it's a 100-mark paper. You have to give more than, you don't have to give more than 1.8 minutes. So to be on a safer side, for every 2-mark question, per mark is 1.5. So for every two, you cannot give more than 3 minutes. Okay. So this is the reason that I'm giving you 3 minutes only. So let us start working on this from day one only, that for every one section A question, we will not take more than 3 minutes to solve. But with practice, you will be able to bring this down to two. I'll tell you in my PM paper, I completed both section A and section B in 1 hour only. I was left with 2 hours totally for section C, and I had scored 65 in PM. Okay. What is the packing and dispatching cost per unit of ABC1? Maribella company makes range of products and sells them online. It uses activity-based costing to allocate costs to its products. Its two most successful products are ABC1 and ABC2, but it makes approximately 20 other products in its factory. That's fine. The company processes and dispatches 12 million orders each year over its entire product range. Now, information relating to ABC1 and ABC2 is as follows. We have sales volume in units. We have average order size in units. Okay. The total packaging and dispatching cost pool for Maribella company is $18 million each year. What is the packing and dispatching cost per unit of ABC1? No problem, Vajreshwari. We will be doing it. The total cost, you have the total cost, right? For this, you'll have to find out the cost driver. What is the cost driver for this $18 million? Read the question.
Sir, option C, 0.69.
No. Okay. What is my total packaging and dispatching cost? They have given it to us 18 million. And what is the cost driver for total packaging and dispatching cost? Can I say it will be the number of orders? Correct? It will be the number of orders. It does not depend on your sale, right? The packaging and dispatching cost will depend on your number of orders, which are 12 million. So, what is your cost per order? 1.5? And guys, in what is the average order size? What are they asking is the packaging and dispatching cost per unit of ABC1. So in ABC1, what is the average order size? 8. So per order is 1.5. Each order contains 8 units. So what is the cost per unit? So number of units, or I will say average order size, is 8 units. So what is my cost, or I will say number of units in one order, will give me cost per unit of order. One 1.5 divided by 8. It is 0.19. That is option D. Everyone understood this? Any question, guys?
No, sir.
With this, we are done with the chapter activity-based costing. That is chapter number 2 in your PM textbook. We are left with one small part in our textbook, which is use of ABC in the public sector. We will be discussing this in tomorrow's class. And then what we start is, I have planned target costing for tomorrow. Target costing, and also what I say is the theory of constraints. Okay, so first we will be doing theory of constraints, and then we will be doing target costing if time permits us. Okay, everyone understood this? Any doubts or questions, anyone? Okay, so we wind the lecture here today. We again connect tomorrow at 12:30 p.m. Okay, chalo, bye. Take care. Yes, Prafar.
सर टोटल नंबर ऑफ क्लासेस कितनी होंगी?
See, I'll need somewhere around 70 to 75 hours to complete the syllabus. So you can just calculate it. 3 hours per lecture and 70 to 75 hours. Okay? Okay. Yes, Suraj.
Sir, how do we like when you're doing the question in the class, how do we
Hmm.
manage Excel and seeing the question at the same time? Do we have to log in from two devices?
Now see, is it from your class standpoint? Now see, that's fine. What I will do is, you can solve the question either on your pen, in your notebook in front of me. But when you are doing it on your own at home, please practice it on a computer only. That's fine. I understand some of you must have joined through mobile phone, some of through laptop, some of through desktop. That's fine. But when you're solving in class, if I'm giving you some time, just keep a small notebook handy with you. Okay?
Okay, sir. Thank you.
No problem. Chalo guys, bye. Take care. See you all at 12:30 p.m. tomorrow. Bye bye. Preeti, I'll have to talk to the team on this. Let me check. I'll also have a word with the team on how do I share these notes with you. Okay? Okay. Chalo. Bye bye.